Hello everybody, and of course here comes Lily. Come on. You can't be on my leg though, you'll have to be on the pillow. Can't be on my leg, baby girl. There we go. There we go. She just has to be a part of everything. Well, oh, see, I did it again. I forgot to put my clock on so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, it's 12:05 in the afternoon. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to say thank you right off the bat before I get into my subject that's in my title. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you who came out to my video yesterday when I had my self-pity day. You all were very understanding and very kind, and I just want to thank you for that. Your compassion and your kind words, I can't tell you how much it helped me through the day, because I literally stayed on the couch all day except when I had to get up for whatever. But I was on the couch, so reading your comments and replying to them really helped me get through the day like you would not believe. It was wonderful, and I can't thank you enough. And I really believe all of your collective prayers, wishes, vibes, well wishes, I really believe they helped. I'm not in as much pain today. Go ahead, baby. I'm not in as much pain today. I did, you know, before I went to bed, I did rub some more Arnica cream on my thigh and wrapped it with an ace bandage real firm, and I left it on while I slept, and I think it helped a lot too. But I want to thank all of you for coming out and giving such kind words, because when you're in pain and you're going through a hard time, kind words can make the world difference. I mean, a huge world difference. And it did for me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. I'm still going to take it easy. I was tempted to get out there and water some things in the backyard, and I was tempted to start a little laundry, and I thought, no, do not push it. Just because it's feeling better doesn't mean it's time to oh, I did this again, guys. Doesn't mean it's time to get going and put myself back where I was. No. So anyway, I just want to thank you. So anyway, let's get to the subject about loneliness and the people that belittle that experience. I wanted to make this video because I watched a TikTok video this morning. You know how short those are. But it was of a girl who was talking about the loneliness she's going through for whatever reason. She just said, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling down, I just feel like I don't belong, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And I felt really bad for her. You could see in her eyes that she was really experiencing loneliness. And some of the comments were so mean, so very mean. I thought, wow, how can people be so cold? And I know this because I did make a video about 1.5 years ago about living alone and not liking it, and some of those comments were so mean. I mean, they were just so mean. And I don't understand that, because if you haven't experienced a lengthy time of loneliness, then maybe you just don't understand. But that doesn't give anybody the right to tell somebody who is experiencing loneliness and hardship with it that they're doing, you know, it's their fault, they're doing it wrong, they're not doing what they need to fill the void in their life, all that. No, you can have loneliness even if you're in a crowd. You can have loneliness if you're living with somebody. You can have your whole family around you and still feel loneliness for various reasons. You know, you never know what somebody has gone through in their life or is going through at the moment that is making them feel that loneliness, and it's a difficult thing to cope with. I know from experience, when I made that video a little over 1 year ago, I was in extreme depression, anxiety, and feeling nothing but loneliness. I was desperate to have anybody come over to be with me. It was a terrible thing. It was a feeling of desperation 24/7, I just wish somebody was here. I just wish somebody was here. It was a very difficult time. It went on for a little over a year. That was very hard to cope with. But if you know somebody like that, don't like say they give you a hint. Say somebody you know makes a simple comment like, "Oh, I've just been feeling really lonely lately," or "I just feel like I don't belong," or whatever. Don't come at them with answers. Come at them with compassion, empathy, listening, and understanding what they're going through, and let them vent. Let them talk about what they're experiencing, because who knows why they're experiencing it? Only they do, or maybe they even don't. When I was going through all that, I couldn't understand. I thought, why am I feeling this desperation? Well, some people are cut out to be alone. We'll talk about the living alone part for a moment. Some people are cut out to live alone. They actually love it. They adore it. Some people are not. I was not cut out to live alone. So it was quite a journey for me to come to acceptance of that this is my circumstance. I have my 2 little dogs, thank goodness. You know, all I've got to do is go, "Come here, baby." That's all I got to do. I just got to go. And I got companionship with my little dogs. No, not now. It's okay. It's okay. Whoops, lost my train of thought. But yeah, some people are cut out for living alone and they actually like it. And then there are some who say they love it, but they'll go home and cry because they really don't. But they're too embarrassed to tell people, "I feel really lonely. I feel lost." And that's understandable. There are people out there who put on a brave face and they act like they love living alone when they really don't. And that loneliness sets in. And then there are people who have family. There are people who are married and they have children and everything, and they are still saying, "I just feel lonely. I feel lost. I don't feel like I belong." So, you know, if you know somebody like that and they give you a hint that they're lonely, you know what? If you're there and you can be with them personally, good gosh, give them a great big tight hug. I mean a meaningful tight hug. Not just that, you know, I don't know what you call it, that just you know, give them a really tight, meaningful hug and tell them, you know, "I'm here for you. What's going on? Why are you feeling this way?" And let them talk to you. Let them get it out. Because, you know, when somebody is experiencing loneliness, I'm telling you, some kind words can change their entire day. It can change their entire being just to hear kind words. But you people out there, you know who you are. I don't know if that it's any of my viewers, my good viewers, my kind viewers. But there are people out there who they try to make it seem like the person is at fault. It's because they're not running their life right. It's because they're not doing the right things to fill that loneliness up. They come up with all kinds of things, which is really cruel. Because when someone is experiencing true loneliness, they need your compassion. They need your kind words. They need to just feel the warmth of your being. You know what I mean? They need to feel your kindness. So don't go over there and belittle that experience. Just because it might not seem like a big deal to you does not mean it's not a big deal to the person going through it. You may have experienced it and found a way to handle it, and that's wonderful. But maybe the person you know that's going through it just hasn't found that answer yet. They just haven't found the answer yet, and they just need somebody to understand and be kind and considerate. And it's one thing to make a kind suggestion like, oh, say you know somebody who's really experiencing loneliness, make a kind suggestion like, is there anything you've thought of that might help it? Or is there anything you want to do that might help this loneliness? Let them come to you with their thoughts. Don't sit there, well, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to, because that's the last thing that they need. Then they feel even worse, like, oh my gosh, I didn't come up with that, or I can't do that right now, or whatever. You make them feel worse. and you don't want to do that. They need compassion and understanding and empathy. Um, and then I'm talking about people just living alone. Um, for me personally, like for instance, my daughter, she would call me. She hasn't been able to see me lately because the flu has kind of run through their house. Hopefully it's over, but not yet. We don't know for sure. But she would call me up and say, "Mom, I'm coming over tomorrow. Let's go to TJ Maxx. Let's go to Burlington. Let's go check out whatever, just to get out, and then we'd grab something to eat or something. Just little things like that, and that helps tremendously. And like my son Elliot and his girlfriend Becca, they've been coming over every week, which is wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful to have them here. Like she'll come and spend the day or most of the day with me while he goes to work, and then he'll come. My son will come to my house, and they always order me something to eat. They never let me pay, which, believe it or not, guys, as an elderly, yes, I'm an elderly single mom, to have somebody come and say we're going to get dinner and pay for it is a heck of a treat. And I'll even tell them, well, let me help you. Let me pay with, let me help you with what it costs. And I'm always told, no, 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 no. So they always, so my son and his girlfriend, they end up buying dinner, which is wonderful. It makes you feel, a little cared for, and the fact that they've been coming over every week has helped me tremendously. And my little granddaughter, their little girl, she's just a doll. She just turned 3 in January, and she's just the sweetest little thing. She's so cute. And so to have my little granddaughter and her mom here for several hours or most of the day is a huge help for me. And having them come weekly. I'm not used to having family members come and visit me weekly because, well, they have their lives. And so the fact that they come weekly, and not that that's going to happen all the time, not that they're going to come over every single week, but having them as they have been coming weekly makes a huge difference. It really helps a lot. There are people out there who have no one to visit them ever. They literally don't. And I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that loneliness, because I go through my phases, guys. Sometimes it's a short phase, sometimes it's a long phase, a longer phase of maybe it's one day or maybe it's a few days of loneliness. And that's when I tell myself, okay, you got to get out of the house. Go be around a bunch of people. Go to Costco, go to Target, go to Walmart, browse around just to be around people. Because when I go to a store, somehow I always end up in conversation with people, with women there. I don't know, it just happens. It always happens. All I've got to do is say, oh, your hair looks pretty today. Man, I've got a whole story coming my way, and we chat. It's really funny. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And so that's very helpful. But I don't know how many of you understand that loneliness is a severe epidemic around the world. Like I told you about those in, you know what? I just had a brain fart. Can't even remember if I told you about the people in Japan. Oh my gosh, I'm having a total brain fart. Excuse me. But anyway, I'm going to repeat myself in case I did. But people in Japan, I watched a video of people in Japan. The elderly are actually committing crimes on purpose so that they can be arrested and put in jail so that they can be taken care of. How sad is that? How very sad is that? The reporter actually spoke to one of the women in the jail, and she said she couldn't be happier. She could not be happier because her medical needs are met, her food needs are met. She has companionship. Like she said, now I have friends. I have companions around me, people to talk with, people to eat with, people to laugh and cry about with. How sad is that, that people get to the point that they would want to intentionally commit a crime so that they can be in jail around others. That's how serious it is. I've seen some reports about the loneliness in the UK. I've seen that too. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I remember reading an article about these orphanages in Russia where there are so many kids that they don't have enough people to take care of them. They just do the basic needs, you know, necessities, feed them, bathe them, change them, you know, that type of thing, and leave them alone in their cribs and in their rooms, and they have no human interaction, basically, just the bare minimum. These children die. They actually die from lack of human touch and lack of human interaction. That's how important it is to have human touch, to have human interaction. It's very, very important. When you don't have any human touch, it can really get to you. Like when my kids come over and they give me a hug, and my grandkids give me a hug, I can actually feel like an energy charge from them, if that makes sense. I can actually feel the energy charge, and it feels so good. And like with my son and his girlfriend that have been coming over every week, I'm telling you, it feels so good to get that hug. And my little granddaughter, she wraps herself around my neck, right? They tell her hugs, and she'll hug me really tight, and then she lets go and pushes away like, I've had enough. No more hugs. I've had enough. You know, it's so cute. But that just goes to show how much human interaction is vital. It's very important. And human touch. When you go without human touch, you may not realize it if you are, if you are experiencing this where you're having no human touch and you're feeling down and out and you're feeling really just, you know, sad, that can contribute to that, guys, because we are supposed to have, we're supposed to be like a pack of dogs, you know, the pack of dogs that take care of each other, they defend each other, they help each other. That's how it's supposed to be, but unfortunately, there are millions who live alone or are just experiencing the loneliness of like living alone. So when I hear or read comments of people putting down people who are expressing their loneliness and what they're feeling and how it's hurting and how it's affected their life, and I read those mean comments, man, those people have got to be some of the most cold-hearted, soulless human beings on earth, because loneliness is a severe, it's a severely important issue. It really is. It's the fact that it affects so many people across the world. It's a very sad thing. It's a very, very sad thing. And some of those people are able to figure out a way to deal with it and cope with it. Some of them simply cannot, because for whatever the reason, it's just not in their nature. It's just, it's too difficult for them to try to figure out how to cope with it. I have my days, guys, let me tell you, I have my days. I'll wake up in the best mood, feeling absolutely wonderful and cheerful about the day. I've got this to do or that to do or whatever. I just feel good. Or maybe it's a day when I just feel like lighting candles and hunkering down for the day or whatever. And then I have days when I wake up and I think, oh my God, another day alone. And I have to struggle and figure out how to get through that day. Because like I said in that video I made over a year ago, you can go to clubs, you can join gyms, you can do whatever. You can go do whatever you want to do through the day, but you know, this is mainly pertaining to living alone. You know you're coming home alone to an empty house. You know you're going to wake up to an empty house, and that can be tough to cope with. Because all those things that you do, they're temporary. They're temporary fixes, like, okay, I'll join a club, or I'll join a gym, or I'll join... You're only there for, what, an hour or two? You're not there all day, so you have that rest of that day of loneliness trying to figure out what to do. Even if someone comes to visit you, you know it's not going to last 24/7. So you do have to figure out ways to fill that void. And it's not always easy. So try having compassion and empathy and understanding if you know somebody who is going through loneliness, or if you're going through it right now. Well, my heart really does go out to you because I know that feeling well. When I was going through that depression and anxiety and loneliness a little over a year ago, it was intense. It was so intense that I had some pretty dark thoughts, let me tell you, really dark thoughts of that caused by that loneliness. But I've been able to work myself out of it slowly but surely. But I still have my days. I'd be a liar if I sat here and said every day is wonderful. And I don't believe anyone who says every day is wonderful and fantastic. Everybody has an up day, a down day. They have something to worry about, fear or stress about. Everybody has something, no matter how small, there's always something. So when somebody tells me, oh, everything's always perfect, or they act like everything's perfect, have you ever talked to somebody and you ask, well, how's everything going? Oh, everything's fine, everything's good. It's always, everything's fine, everything's good. That's, nobody's life is always fine and always good. So when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, you just don't want to share with me, whatever. But loneliness is something that I honestly, when I read those mean comments, all I can think is either that person has never experienced true loneliness, or they're just heartless. They're just heartless to where they are practically making fun of somebody who reveals themselves, let's say on a YouTube or a TikTok or whatever. They reveal what they're going through because they're hurting, and it's free to be kind, guys. It costs nothing to be kind. Nobody's perfect. Nobody does everything right. Nobody says and does everything that everybody's going to love all the time, but everybody's human, and sometimes you just need to be kind. Try just being kind instead of always trying to be like you know it all, like it has to be your way or no way. That's not what somebody who's going through loneliness needs. They don't need somebody making them feel like, well, this is the way you got to do it or else it's your fault. Sometimes they just need a hug. They just need somebody to talk to just vent and let their hurt be known. They don't need the answers. Sometimes they don't want the answers. A lot of times they don't want the answers. They just want somebody to say, I'm here for you. I understand. I feel for you. This must be hard. I can't imagine what you're feeling. Or you can say, I've been there. I know what it's like to feel that loneliness, and it's tough to get through. Make that person feel like they're not all alone in their feeling of loneliness. Make them understand, you're not alone. I've been there. Lots of people have been there, and it's a tough thing to get through, because when you empathize with somebody who's going through loneliness, it helps them. Believe it or not, it gives them a little strength, like, oh, I'm not going through this alone. There are others. I'm not crazy. I'm not weird. This is a tough phase in my life right now. Because most people experience loneliness at some time, whether it's for a short amount of time, like maybe you're alone all day, you're married and you're alone all day. Let's say you're a stay-at-home wife and your kids and husband are in school or work all day, and maybe you feel a little lonely sometimes. Maybe some days you love it, but maybe there are days when you're like, oh gosh, I hate being alone in the house. Or anything, you know what I'm saying. That's just an example. It can be a short period or a long period of loneliness. But regardless of what it is, especially if it's a long period of loneliness, people need compassion. They need someone to say, I care. They need someone to show, I'm here for you. Or maybe ask, what can I do to help? And listen to them. Take in their suggestions. Don't just sit there, oh yeah, I know how it is. Ask them, how can I help? And maybe act upon whatever it is they need, if you can. Like if they say something like, I just wish I could get out more, or whatever. Offer, offer. Say, well, why don't we go to lunch? Or why don't we do this? Like my cousin, I have a cousin who she'll come over and we'll just go to lunch and come back here and talk and chat for a little bit. And then she goes home. Those little things are nice. A little bit of something to break up that loneliness, because it can happen to anyone. Like I said, whether you live alone or if you are around people, you can still feel it. So if you are experiencing this, my heart really goes out to you, and I hope somebody reaches out to you, or you can reach out to somebody and they help you through this period, because it's very hard. Or if you know somebody, help them. You know, kindness is free, guys. There's a lot of unkindness and impatience and meanness and cruelty out there. And it takes a lot less energy to just be kind. So if you know someone like that, give them a little piece of yourself, you know? And if you're not close to them, call them. Call them regularly to see how they're doing. Like yesterday, my son's girlfriend called me just to see how I was doing because of, or texted me to see how I was doing because of my thigh muscle issue. She just texted me right away in the morning, "How are you doing?" That simple little text meant the world to me because of the pain I've been going through. And that's what it can mean to somebody. So if you think a little text of saying, "How are you?" or "Hey, you want me to call you and talk?" or "Why don't you give me a call?" Something simple, it can change a person's day. It can completely change a human being's view of their life in that day. So show some kindness, because there's enough of the other stuff out there, impatience and meanness and cruel words and what have you. There's enough of that out there. So spread a little kindness, guys. You never know whose day you can make with just a few short words of, "Hey, how are you doing? I was wondering how things are going." That can change someone's life. So anyway, I can't believe my Lily's not with me. My little Lily is always with me when I record. She's on the couch now asleep next to Pixie. So I guess this time she didn't have it in her to be the little diva that I think she was a human in a past life. I really do. And she was an actress. That's why as soon as I set up the camera, she's over here like, "I'm ready. I'm ready for everybody to see me." She loves it. You ought to see her, guys. I set up that camera and she's already over here ready. So silly. But anyway, I got to end this video. Take care, guys, and just know that kind words, kind gestures, a nice hug, a little gift, surprise them with something just to say, "I'm thinking of you." It doesn't have to be expensive, just a little gift. When I get gifts from people, it means the world to me. It just brightens me up inside. I just feel good. Just anything, it doesn't matter. So if you know someone, maybe take them a little gift. Give them a hug, give them some kind words, help them through their loneliness phase, because it can become very, very serious. So take care, guys, and I will see you later. Have a good one, and thank you again for yesterday. It means the world to me. I'm going to take the rest of the day and relax. I'm not going to mess this up. It's feeling much better right now. So take care, guys. You two little lazy bums. Look at you on the couch.